Liverpool is in complete chaos right now after a hugely disappointing season and the shock sacking of Ancelotti. Reports are now claiming Iraola is set to take over. But that's not even the biggest story. According to reports, Iraola's first move will be to dump 6 Liverpool players, and some of the names involved have left fans completely stunned. Liverpool are set to appoint Andoni Iraola as their new manager after parting ways with Ancelotti following a disappointing 202,526 campaign. And this is not a slow, drawn-out appointment. Romano reports that Liverpool have already made their choice and are advancing plans to appoint Iraola, writing on Andoni Iraola set to become the next Liverpool manager as revealed earlier today. The negotiations will move forward quickly to get it done with formal steps. But Liverpool decision made. Iraola will be the next manager. That is how fast this is moving. And before we even get into the 6 players who are being shown the door, we need to establish who exactly is holding it open. In 2023, Iraola was appointed at Premier League side Bournemouth, guiding the team to the highest league finish in their history. In 2025-26, with a first-ever qualification for European football on April 11, 2026, Iraola achieved a 2-1 defeat of leaders Arsenal. 3 days later, he confirmed he would be leaving Bournemouth at the end of the campaign, having led them on an 18-match unbeaten streak, securing qualification for the Europa League for the first time in their history with a final 6th-place finish. Now, think about what it means for Liverpool to be getting this man. The Spaniard did a fantastic job on the South Coast, breaking Bournemouth's top flight points record in each of his 3 seasons there. He did it while Bournemouth consistently sold their best players. Last summer alone, they lost 4 of their first-choice back 5 with Dean Huijsen, Milos Kekes, and Ilya Zabani all departing, while Kia Arrizabalaga went back to parent club Chelsea before being sold to Arsenal. The year before, top scorer Dominic Salini was sold. And just 4 months ago, Antoine Semenyo, who was then Bournemouth's top scorer, left for Manchester City. Every time a star left, the team got better. That is not a coincidence. That is what an elite manager does. And now he is walking into Anfield. Liverpool sporting director, Richard Hughes, hired Iraola for Bournemouth. And there is clearly a great understanding and appreciation between them. So this all lines up perfectly. This is not a gamble. Hughes knows exactly what he is getting. He has seen it up close at Bournemouth, and he is bringing that same energy to one of the biggest clubs in the world. But the question that matters now is this. What does a man like actually do when he inherits a bloated, underperforming squad? The answer, based on everything we know about him, is that he clears house. And that is exactly what is happening. The surprise decision was made to relieve Slot of his duties on Saturday after Liverpool's poor 2025-26 season had ended the week before. The Reds ended the campaign trophyless and only just managed to secure Champions League qualification, having won the Premier League title the previous season. The club invested approximately £413 on signings before the 2025-26 season began, yet have nothing to show for it in terms of silverware. So is not coming into a well-oiled machine. He is coming into a squad that spent nearly £500 million, finished 25 points behind Arsenal and crept into the Champions League on the final day of the season, and he has already reportedly made his mind up about at least 6 players. Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson are already set to leave the Merseyside club this summer, while Ibrahim Konate is also expected to leave on a free transfer after failing to agree a new deal. Add to that the likes of Federico Xa, Curtis Jones, and Wat Ruendo, and you are looking at a mass departure at Anfield unlike anything the club has seen in years. Salah and Robertson have already left the club, with the former asking to be released a year early from his contract, leaving a big hole to fill. The trio combined for 1,300 club appearances and served as key pillars in the dressing room, with their leadership and presence to be sorely missed. 6 players out, a new manager in, and a club that once set the standard for the Premier League now staring down one of its most defining summers in a generation. To understand why Iraola is swinging the axe, you first need to understand how bad the 2025-26 season actually was. Because the numbers alone do not capture just how far Liverpool fell. The decision follows a difficult 202,526 season in which Liverpool struggled for consistency, only achieving Champions League qualification on the final day of the season and finishing 25 points behind Arsenal in the table. 25 points, that is not a title challenge that fell short. That is a complete and total collapse from a team that had won the Premier League title 12 months earlier. Despite occasional positive performances under Slot, as well as the fact he won the title in his first season in the club, the team failed to build sustained momentum during his second full season in charge. That stagnation ultimately convinced the decision-makers at Anfield that a change was required. Liverpool braced for a substantial squad transformation this summer, with as many as 9 players anticipated to depart Anfield following a deeply frustrating campaign. The Reds endured a season of profound disappointment, igniting the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and Champions League prematurely, while sitting 5th in the Premier League table, eliminated from every cup competition. 5th in the league, knocked out of the Champions League by Paris Saint-Germain. And all of this 1 year after being champions. The velocity of the decline was staggering, and it left everyone at Anfield with no choice but to reckon with how deep the problem actually ran. Liverpool had been criticized for their lack of identity and intensity this season. That is not a small thing. Identity and intensity are not tactical tweaks. They are cultural. They are the kind of thing that takes hold across an entire squad when a manager's authority begins to erode. And by the end of the season, it was clear that Slaw's grip on the dressing room had loosened significantly. Team talk has been told by sources that Liverpool's hierarchy were not enamored with the club's finish to the season, while further doubts were raised over Slot's plans for reshaping the backroom staff. Those concerns ultimately proved decisive. Following discussions involving sporting director Richard Hughes and senior figures at the club across Friday and Saturday, a decision was taken to axe Slot and move quickly to identify potential successes. The speed of the decision tells you everything about the mood inside Anfield. This was not a reluctant parting. This was an urgent intervention, and when you look at who was actually performing, or more accurately who was not, it becomes obvious why Iraola's arrival triggers such a radical reshaping of the squad. Federico Chiesa looks very likely to be on his way out of Anfield this summer. Seen as a deal too good to turn down 2 years ago, it simply has not worked out for the Italian, and a move back home looks to be the best bet. Watu Endo still has another year left on his contract, though he has indicated he is not satisfied with the game time he has been getting, which could lead him to push for a move this summer. Curtis Jones is said to be attracting interest from Inter Milan again, having been linked with a move to the Italian champions in January. And then there is Ibrahim Konate, a player who as recently as April was telling reporters he was close to signing a new deal. Konate's exit comes following the Merseyside derby win over Everton in April. He told reporters he was close to an agreement and insisted he had always wanted to stay at Liverpool, saying, "I think everyone wished for that for as long as possible, but we are in a good way. For sure, there is a big chance I'm here next season. This is what I always wanted." That never materialized. Liverpool had been in negotiations with Kate since November 2023. However, according to Give Me Sport, Liverpool decided a bumper big money contract for Konate would be an expensive renewal. And so, he walks for free. After years of negotiations, they simply could not find the middle ground. And with Iraola arriving, a man who built Bournemouth into a European team despite constantly losing his best players, the message is clear. No one at Anfield has their place guaranteed anymore. Even after a busy and expensive summer transfer window last year, a degree of squad surgery is likely. Surgery is one word for it. What is about to happen looks more like a complete transplant. So, who are the 6 players being cleared out? And what does each departure tell us about the direction is pointing Liverpool in? Start with the most prominent loss. Mohamed Salah will leave Anfield after the final game of the season, bringing an end to 9 successful years with the Merseyside Giants. The Egyptian forward reached an agreement to leave at the end of June despite having extended his contract until 2027 just last year. He is understood to have experienced differences with Slot and has performed below his usual standards this campaign. Saudi Arabian football has long pursued the 33-year-old, and a move to the Middle East appears imminent. 9 years, 2 Premier League titles, a Champions League, the most prolific foreign scorer in Liverpool's history, and he is leaving, not at the peak of his powers, and not entirely on his own terms. With his arch-nemesis Slot showing the door, you do wonder for a second if Salah could cancel his plans to leave Liverpool, but chances are he's gone for good. Next to go is Andy Robertson. Robertson will also exit when his deal expires, having not been offered fresh terms. We already know that Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson will be leaving for free. Robertson's contract expires on June 30th. While the Egyptian is moving on despite having another 12 months to run on his contract, Robertson was once the gold standard for left-backs in the Premier League. A relentless engine, a Klopp disciple, but the engine has slowed. The contract talks went nowhere, and Iraola is not interested in sentimentality. Then there is Ibrahima Konate. Liverpool must replace 3 players during the transfer window after it emerged that Ibrahim Konate will follow Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson out of the Anfield exit door. Konate's contractual situation had been a persistent topic of discussion throughout the season. The French defender appeared close to finalizing new terms in April. Yet, that talk has since gone quiet and his existing agreement expires in June. That is 3 confirmed exits already. 3 players with over 1,000 combined appearances for the club. Walking out the door in the same summer now to Federico Chiesa following his move from Juventus during Arne Slot's inaugural transfer window. Chiesa's prospects have been regularly questioned. The 28-year-old found it difficult to establish himself as a starter, but has admirably shown little sign of frustration at Anfield. The Italian opened the season with a crucial goal off the bench as Liverpool beat Bournemouth, generating significant optimism about what lay ahead. Added just 1 more league goal since, but did appear as a substitute in the previous 3 fixtures. Multiple Serie A clubs, including former side Juve, have reportedly shown interest in a transfer. After similar rumors last summer, Chiesa is a fascinating case. He came in with a huge reputation, a Juventus and Italy star, a player who had lit up Serie A and European competition, but Liverpool under Slot never quite figured out how to use him. He became a squad player when he should have been a key figure. And now with a new manager arriving, who demands relentless pressing and direct, explosive attacking play, Chiesa, 28 years old, not quite at his physical peak after years of injury, may simply not fit the brief. Then there is Wataru Endo. Japan midfielder Endo signed ahead of Jurgen Klopp's farewell season, but has found opportunities limited under the German's replacement slot. Speculation suggests he might leave this summer rather than see out the remaining year of his deal with a return to the Bundesliga among the potential destinations. And finally, Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones finds himself with no shortage of admirers as he enters the final 12 months of his Liverpool contract. Curtis Jones is said to be attracting interest from Inter Milan again, having been linked with a move to the Italian champions in January. Jones is homegrown, loyal, and deeply connected to the club. But connection alone does not get you in the team under a manager like Iraola. If you cannot press with pace and purpose, you are not in his plans. The remaining title winners all have doubts over their futures and include Joe Gomez, Wataru Endo, Alexis M. Alistaster, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, and Federico Chiesa. 6 names, 6 different stories, but one common thread. A new manager arriving with a non-negotiable vision and no patience for passengers. Here is where the story gets genuinely fascinating. Because what Andoni Iraola actually brings to Liverpool is not just a new manager. It is a complete philosophical overhaul of how the club will play football. Iraola's philosophy revolves around high-intensity pressing, vertical attacking play, and brave positional structures. He encourages teams to dominate through proactive off-ball movement and quick decisive ball circulation. It is a style rooted in risk and reward, seeking to unbalance opponents and capitalize on transitional moments. That description, risk and reward, unbalancing opponents, transitional moments, is basically the polar opposite of what Liverpool offered in the 2025-26 season. Slot's team were passive. They conceded the initiative. They let games come to them. And in the modern Premier League, with Arsenal setting the standard for relentless intensity, that approach left Liverpool 25 points behind and trophyless. Iraola's football is the antidote to everything Liverpool got wrong this season. Over Iraola's reign, Bournemouth attacked the fastest of every team with the average speed of their moves upfield clocking in at 1.95 m per second.